Hello and welcome to the Stone and Wood Shop video. Thanks very much for joining us. We're in the warehouse at Stone and Wood Shop and we're going to be talking about laying wooden floors. There are many ways of doing this. We're going to introduce you to three possible options. One is the floating floor. Secondly, a floor to be fixed by secret nailing. This is a term you may or may not have heard. And the third option is to stick this floor down. How you lay your floor is going to depend on whether or not you're using a solid or an engineered board, and also the background or the subfloor onto which you will be fixing your floor. So the first thing to do is to show you the difference between an engineered and a solid floor. Okay, so here we have a couple of pieces of oak flooring, apparently similar, but actually they're very different products. Hopefully then you can see the difference with these two boards. This being a piece of solid oak, 20mm thick. Tongues and grooves are machined from this 20mm material. This is the engineered board. So this is a 6mm layer of sawn oak. This isn't a veneer, this is sawn through 6mm, and it's bonded to this high quality birch ply on the back. Now, the important thing about this is that these types of boards behave quite differently. The engineered board is inherently more stable than the solid. It's less prone to movement and responds less willingly to changes in temperature and humidity. So actually the first thing to note at this point is that if you're going to be laying solid boards, they need to acclimatise in the room for at least a week, preferably 10 days before you fit them. The engineered board doesn't need acclimatising, but actually neither product should come into the house until the conditions are right. So central heating should be on, all the wet trades should have gone, plaster work, screeds should be dry. The engineered board can come in and be fitted immediately. The solid board needs to come in and be acclimatised. Okay, so now we have to think about how to lay this wooden floor, given the different options. Now, it comes down to time, money and feasibility, really. Now, don't worry too much about the doing of the job. We're going to produce a separate video for each method of installation, so you'll be able to check that out. But for the minute, we're just going to run through the factors that you have to bear in mind when you're going to decide how to lay this floor. So, first things first, floating method here. This is an underlay, separating underlay, moisture barrier underlay, whatever you'd like to call it. As the name suggests, the floor is laid on top of this underlay, hence floating floor. Boards are joined together and sat on this underlay. First thing to note is that the solid boards cannot be laid by this method. We said a minute ago that they're more unstable than the engineered products. They therefore need to be fixed down, either nailed down or glued down, but not laid by this floating method. So this is an option open to you for engineered boards only. It's a relatively quick and straightforward way of laying a floor, okay? That's one option. This is the nail down method. We use this machine, it's called a porter nailer. It fires nails into the tongues and into the subfloor. Really, this is a method open to you when you're dealing with a timber subfloor like this, chipboard deck or plywood. It fires nails. Obviously you can't fire nails into screeds, so it's for timber subfloors. Both solid and engineered boards can be fixed with this method. In fact, if you've got a timber subfloor, this is really the best way to do it. You could lay a floating floor, but this way you're going to fix it down. Generally speaking, that's preferable. The stick down method over here, again, either product can be laid in this way. You can stick onto timber backgrounds. You can stick down onto screeds. Again, if you're going to lay a solid floor onto a screeded background, this is a good method. If you're going to lay an engineered board, you can stick it down, or you can lay the floating method. Now, which do you do? Well, this is a little bit more expensive than this. You've got to pay for these expensive adhesives, and it's a bit more time consuming. So basically, if you've got a solid board and you're on a solid subfloor, you must stick down. If you've got a floating floor, you can stick it if you want to. It's a very nice finish. This is an acoustic underlay. It reduces sound. It's good feeling underfoot. Or you can lay by this method.